Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel for this payday routine video. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down our most recent paychecks, kind of allocating them to see where they need to go, where we want them to go for the next 2 weeks. This is how I strike the balance between being very intentional with my money while also like living in the moment and saving for the future. If you're new, hi, my name's Alice. I love to chat about money and show you a little bit about my life. So if that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe. I love to talk about overcoming the scarcity mindset, which is really enjoying money, enjoying life, and also setting yourself up for success financially in the future. Real quick, I'm just gonna go over my payday routine super fast. Step one is I go and I input all of my expenses that have come in and out of the bank account since I last did my payday routine, and I find that cadence of 2 times a month plus like my monthly reset, kind of checking the budget spreadsheet and inputting expenses is really a good cadence for me as someone who has struggled with the scarcity mindset. I have been obsessive about money in the past before and just trying to really check it all the time and control it and be really in the spreadsheet when sometimes there's only so much you can do when it comes to being in the spreadsheet. So that's for me. I'm a natural underspender, so I try to make sure that I am spending our money the way that we want to and living outside of the spreadsheet. Also input our income as well. And then for step 2, I go through the actual budget spreadsheet, like the main page, and I look around, see how we're doing. So I know I saw for this month, we have already spent all of our money on eating out, and we have a lot of extra splurge money. We've only spent 20 and we've only spent 30 out of the 200. I noticed that I hadn't taken money out from savings from our celebration sinking fund to pay for my husband's birthday. So like I did that, just making sure that I'm like staying on top of things. Take a look at what's happening, adjust the budget spreadsheet, because as much as I love budgeting, there is a aspect of future telling and it's not always going to be perfect. So I love to adjust it so that I am instead being flexible and hitting my goals instead of like just being mad at myself, feeling guilty and ashamed or something, and then like having an unhealthy relationship with money. So that's the way I do it. And the third step in my payday routine is actually to break down our most recent paychecks and see where they need to go within the next 2 weeks. Find that this is a very intentional thing to do, where I have like 2 major budget check-ins every single month. Like I can look at it more than that, but it's just really important for me that number one, we are using our guilt-free spending money, and then also making sure that we're just, sticking well to the rest of our budget and that we have saved the money that we said we were going to save. So anyways, without further ado, let's break down these paychecks. I have all my numbers right here on my laptop and I'm going to be reading them off to you guys. Let's start off with income. So my husband and I, we do have 100% combined finances. Obviously we have our 401ks through our company, so those are not like super combined, but we think about it as if like if I want to increase my contribution, how does that affect family finances, and like how do we both do enough in our 401ks to set ourselves up for future success as a family. So it really is all like family oriented and everything. But our paychecks that we're going to bring home from our W-2 income jobs is $4,689.01. That's been a pretty consistent income for us over the last, I don't know, like 8 or 9 months. I got a new job like 9 months ago, and then my husband got a raise also at that same time. So it's been a pretty consistent income, and I feel like it's been absolutely amazing for the lifestyle that we want to live. We're going to be rolling over from the last payday cycle $101.25. That obviously is not like a ton of money or something, but I feel like it's always such a blessing, and I'm so grateful for every time we have rollover that's in the positives and not the negatives. I feel like recently we've been really struggling with keeping our rollover positive. It's not that we're going into debt for this. We have many safety nets in order to not go into debt, be not budgeting accurately, or your lifestyle's inflating. So it's just good to see that this is a positive number. From savings, I'm going to be pulling $50, and that is from our car sinking fund. I really struggle to use our car sinking fund. I feel like we can only use it if we have an emergency. Kind of like the emergency fund where like if I touch it, like it better be the apocalypse, but I know that's not actually how it is. We save a lot of money every single month, and I want to make sure that we feel comfortable using it. The scarcity mindset definitely tells me that if I pull money out of savings, I'll pull money out of savings every month for the rest of my life, and then we'll never have enough savings. Kind of just spirals from there. But we're going to pull $50 out. That's not very much money to pull out of a sinking fund, and I honestly don't know if we're actually going to need that. But I guess if we do have extra money at the end of the month, I can always move that money back into the sinking fund, but I just want to build that habit of using the money from sinking funds. I notice that I tend to not pull money out of sinking funds, and then I put myself in a tough situation that's like a very artificial situation that I could have totally avoided, but I don't. And so I'm just trying to like, I don't want to get too deep, but like life is short. I don't want to ever add unnecessary stress on myself. Life is already stressful enough. I just don't know why like sometimes I put that stress on myself and I don't need to be. So I'm just trying to be a little bit kinder to to myself financially. So that's what we're doing. A long explanation for pulling $50 out of savings. So that leaves us with a total of $4,840.26. That is what we're going to be working with for the next 2 weeks. Okay, let's go on to our bills for the next 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, I literally hate that I'm like so excited to talk to you guys about our bills, but that's my life right now. I love personal finance, and so the fact that our mortgage is what it is just makes me so happy. Our mortgage is going to come out and that is $2,606. So yeah, just again, like very happy about that. If you're new here, we refinanced like a few months ago and it has been absolutely a game changer. We went from a 7.5% interest rate to almost a 5.5% interest rate, and that has looked like $600 a month of savings from our mortgage. We did also drop our PMI, but our PMI, we thought our PMI was gonna be like $400. It wasn't. It was like super low. It was maybe $100. I can't remember. So we were like super excited to drop the PMI, then ended up not actually being a big deal. But we're still so grateful that we're saving on interest for our house. We had a high interest rate and I was super sad about it, but I finally came to terms with it. And I decided that I wasn't interested in refinancing because I didn't want to go through the emotional roller coaster of like the rates going up and down and up and down. So unbeknownst to me, my husband had been checking the rates behind my back. And then one day I literally remember I was just sitting at the kitchen table working. Then he comes down the stairs and he goes, "We're refinancing today." And I was like, "Excuse me, what?" He spent the rest of the day, like 6 hours on phones with loan officers or driving around the city and like going to banks and trying to talk to loan officers. It was amazing. It was a lot of work and I honestly got so excited that I crashed and I had like a really bad day the next day because I was just so pumped. I really like work myself up even when it's good emotions and I get really tired afterwards. But yeah, anyways, I am still so pumped about that. Just makes such a huge difference to lower your living expenses. If your living expenses are high, like don't worry, we had like 80 to 90% expenses. It was not a great ratio. It was really tight, but we just gave it some time, promotions, new job, jumping on that lower interest rate. Okay, and then this payday cycle, we're gonna have our life insurance come out at $180.47. I do get a lot of comments on this being like, oh, don't have whole life insurance, get term life insurance. This actually is term life insurance. So as a family where both of us work, we don't have any kids. We have 2 cats. We want children someday though. But as a family that has 2 people who work, we just realized that if both people are bringing in financial, I don't know, financial gain for the family or something, or we're both supporting the family financially. And I also think this happens when you have a single income household and one person staying at home and like doing most of the like housework or childcare responsibilities. I feel like they're both bringing, like supporting the family financially, even if you're not actually bringing home like a W-2 income. And so for us, especially as someone who can be so incredibly stressed out and like anxious, having life insurance and disability insurance has been such a blessing because like we literally don't have to worry. Say we do someday have like some sort of car accident or something, like we can still support our family financially, and there's so much that's out of your control in life. And so we just decided that term life and disability insurance was the best option for our family. Now I will say there are so many people who will benefit off of you having whole life insurance. I'm not going to say it's the wrong thing for you. Do your own research, but talk to a lot of different people who don't benefit off of you having whole life insurance because they can maybe give you a more objective stance on it. But yeah, it's not for us. We definitely love our term life and our disability insurance for sure. For Canva, I'm going to budget $15. For Power, I know that it's going to come out at $47.61. So we get emails from our providers telling us how much it's going to be a few weeks before or something. So that's really convenient. I did end up budgeting like $120 this month for Power, but I always forget that Power, like you pay the previous month or something, kind of like the mortgage, where it confuses me. Like we definitely hit the sweet spot last month where we weren't heating our house because it was warm enough, but we weren't really cooling our house. We were able to keep the windows open. Now, unfortunately, it's in the 90s. So I don't even know if we can keep our windows open at night, but I should definitely check that. Okay, I just had to take a little stretching break because sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground does crazy things to you once you hit the age of 25. Let me tell you. Okay, let's move on to expenses. So for groceries, I'm gonna budget $140. It's hard to tell sometimes if you have a lot of groceries and a lot of food to make, or if you just are feeling tired. And I feel like they're kind of correlated, where it's like, I'm kind of tired, kind of overwhelmed right now. So I feel like we don't have that much food at home. Do actually, and we should probably just make it. But anyways, $140 should be good. We're just missing some of the essentials. Like we don't have eggs, we don't have heavy whipping cream, which is an essential in our household. And then we don't have milk. But yeah, I just feel like we need those things, but everything else, we have like so much food. So I'm interested to see how much we actually spend on groceries. And then for tithing, I'm gonna budget $473.90. So that is 10% of our money, our income. And then we give a little bit more for like food banks and stuff. Firm believer that like, yes, donating to the world, donating globally, like that's amazing. And I think that any donating, any service, service, anything is like you're being a force for good no matter what you do. Exactly. I feel like a huge part of donating is donating within like your sphere of influence. And so I was super happy this month when someone reached out on Slack, like in the big general Slack, and said like, oh, their daughter is selling keychains to go on a trip or something. And so we bought a couple of them and they're so cute and I love them so much. On to gas. I'm gonna budget $100 for gas. So we actually are really close to hitting our monthly gas budget. I think we only have like $40 left or something, but my husband did have to drive to a different branch this month. And so they reimbursed him for gas. And so we technically have more than we do because they reimbursed us, but like that money doesn't have a specific place in our budget spreadsheet. So if we go over this category, that's totally fine with me. But yeah, $100 should be good. Gas prices are coming down, thankfully. I feel like it all is so relative. I remember during COVID, I'm sure gas prices are different in like every single state, but in Utah, I feel like they're pretty decent. And at one point it was like getting close to, was it $5 or was it $4? I couldn't quite remember. But like the year previous, it had been under $2 and it was insane. So now I think it's about $3.50, which feels low because it used to be like $4.50. Okay, I'm gonna budget $150 for miscellaneous overflow. Let me check to see if we've spent any of this in our monthly budget so far. We have spent $102. Okay, so we have about $200 left. I try not to put a ton of products into this actual category. I just like it to be more like overflow. It used to be miscellaneous, but now as we've gotten better at budgeting, it's really become just like overflow for other categories in which we spend too much. But I will say like my husband did pay for soccer, and so that came out of this because like that is a super random expense that happens like every like 9 weeks or something. So it's not really like regular. If you're new to budgeting, my unexpected or miscellaneous overflow category has been one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I will never, ever, ever, as someone who is so obsessed with budgeting, I will never, ever, ever be perfect at budgeting. Budgets reflect your life, and life is never perfect or straightforward, and you're not like perfect at telling the future. At least I'm not. Maybe you are. Okay, that's a Raven. Instead of getting mad at myself and saying that I can't budget, I just have this miscellaneous overflow category. And as an underspender, I never see that as money to spend. But I could see how if you're a natural overspender, you would be like, oh, I have an extra $150 this month to spend on whatever I want. So it definitely depends on like what your money mindset is. Okay, I'm gonna budget $50 for that oil change. I feel like every time you go and get an oil change, it's a different price, and I do not understand how that happens, but I did find a coupon. Maybe it'll be lower than the $50. I am totally someone who gets got, you guys. I'm so embarrassed about this, but took our Chevy Traverse and like a literal simp, I was like, yeah, I'll take the premium or something, and I totally got the premium oil change, and I was like, whoops. That should be the only thing for car maintenance for the next 2 weeks. I will say, okay, this is so unfortunate. I was looking at the garage floor and it looks like there might be a teeny tiny little oil leak, which is so unfortunate, but we do have a place that we love taking our car to. We trust them a lot more. Whole car fiasco where we took our car to this place that we've taken it like 5 times already. And then they low key, I don't know if it's like they're understaffed or they're stressed or they have a hard time keeping like knowledgeable talent. They told us that every single thing that could be wrong in the entire car was wrong for an oil leak. Anyways, they wanted to charge us $3,500 and we're like, that sounds fishy. Showed my dad, he was like, that's fishy. Took it to another mechanic shop and they were like, what? All their things that they said wouldn't have actually fixed the real problem that was wrong. And so we took it to that mechanic shop and they were amazing. The problem has been fixed. It's been amazing. So yeah, we just really struggled finding like a car place that we trusted, but we finally had an in with this place that was client based only. Like you had to know someone to get in. Someone that had owned one of our cars previously took the car into that shop, and so we were able to get in because one of our cars, even without us owning it, had been into that shop before. So we're very blessed about that. Okay, for house and yard, I originally budgeted not very much this month and we've already spent over that budget by quite a bit, but I need to budget another $100. We're currently putting in our drip lines for our flower beds because it's been so hot. We're like, oh my gosh, we need to be better at watering these. Stuff for the actual drip lines is not very expensive, but I swear every time you go into Home Depot, you have to spend a minimum of $100. So I'm gonna budget $100. If we don't end up spending that, like that'll be great, but like I would not be surprised. You just walk in and then you're like, I remember everything I've ever needed for my house. We're not even like splurge buying like fancy things. It's literally just things that we need. For personal care, I'm gonna budget $15. I think I need more eyebrow stuff. If you guys haven't watched a vlog before and like not seen me with makeup before, my eyebrows are they're not completely invisible, but they're pretty dang close. So I actually put like eyebrow stuff on every single day, like basically mascara on my eyebrows. I'm sure many of you guys do too. I feel bad for our future children because my husband and I both don't have eyebrows. It's gonna be a lot for them to handle. Also, I'm just now remembering that I started watering a bush like at 11 and it's almost 2. So I should probably change that. But it's like a very slow drip. But like this is exhibit A of why we need drip lines. It's like, it's just so hard to remember to like move the hose and consistently do it. Let's go on to guilt-free spending. So we did already spend all of our guilt-free spending like eating out budget for the month, but I know that we're probably gonna eat out. So no fear, I'm gonna budget $50 for eating out, but then we also have like a splurge fund, which is our overflow for fun money as well. So it'll be okay, but I kind of am starting to think like, I'm interested to see my annual spending, like if we spend more eating out in the summertime than what we do in the winter, because I feel like $100 was so good for us, and now the summer's hit and like 150 is our minimum. Could be lifestyle inflation, could be inflation, you know, the normal one. Could just be that we are going out and doing more and eating a lot more places. Like we went to a rodeo and we bought concessions. We went to play and we bought concessions. Like we're always just buying things while we're there, and those things are definitely adding up. For golf, I'm gonna budget $100. Hopefully my husband can do that. If you guys are in Utah, then you definitely know the air quality here has been atrocious. Yeah, not great. So like ash is falling from the sky and like it's just really smoky outside. I mean, the sky seems a lot more blue than it has for a while, but yeah, it's just been very, very hot, very windy, and then like, yeah, fires around. So stay safe out there. I'm not gonna say we completely stay inside when the air quality is bad, because like that would be a lie. He already played golf when the air quality was bad, and like I went swimming when ash was falling from the sky. Like we probably should not do that as much. And then for our splurge category, I'm gonna budget $100, and that is just gonna go towards any overflow stuff. Like if we eat out even more than $50, I already spent some of the splurge money on buying a dress. I just feel like every time I buy a dress, it's $100. Well, it was like the dress was $89 itself, and then like shipping, which I'm more into paying shipping than buying a lot of things and having to return it. Returning items really clutters my life and my brain, and I don't like it. I feel like I always have a tab open. It's always taking my energy. So I prefer to pay for shipping, but that just makes every like little item feel more expensive. Alrighty, moving on to saving and investing. So if you're new here, not every paycheck is spent the same. The paychecks at the beginning of the month go more towards saving and investing. We tried to split up the fun over the month. The paychecks at the end of the month go more towards our bills. Mortgage is a big one. At the end of the month, we definitely save and invest a lot less than we do at the very beginning of the month. Now that can sometimes put us into a little bit of a predicament. We might not have the money, and if we do overspend, then we have to take money out of savings. It can make it harder on us, but I also found that when we were first married, we would always save at the very end of the month. And with just like paying off the credit cards, I never knew when we could actually like save or invest. Now we just do it at the very beginning of the month, and then we make everything else work around our saving and investing. For our automated Roth IRA contributions, that is going to add up to $576 for the next 2 weeks. So that is just me and my husband's Roth IRA maxed out for the year, divided up weekly. I was really worried about investing this way, like with an automated withdrawal every single month. I didn't like seeing the money in my account and then seeing it go away, because I feel like the moment that it hits my bank account, I'm attached to it. I feel like I've really adapted to this way. I always know that $288 a week is called for. I feel like it's worked really well with our lives. I feel like people always tell you like automate, but I will say when we had really high fixed expenses, like 80s, 90s, whatever, we could not afford to automate because we didn't want to get an overdraft fee. So I'm really grateful that we are able to do that now. But other than that, we're not saving or investing anything else. Done that all at the beginning of the month. Okay, and that leaves us with a total of $136.28, which I feel like is a pretty good rollover. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching my payday routine video. I hope that this helps as motivation or inspiration to see a normal person's finances and also enjoy your life today. And I almost ended that like a prayer. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you later. Bye.